Hi guys, and thank you so much for watching as always. Today we are back with Kerbal, career mode. What we're going to do today is we're going to discuss the next mission, which the next mission is going to be to return to Minmus. We're going to return to Minmus for two reasons. One, we're going to try and get some more signs from it, and two, we need to plant that flag, because we didn't plant it. Well, I say we, it was me. In my excitement of actually landing on my first moon, I didn't actually plant a flag. So we definitely want to do that. So we're going to do that in this episode. As you can see, the rocket has changed significantly. There have been some modding included in this episode now. We've got fairings, we've got different propulsion systems, we've got quite a lot of stuff, lights and stuff. But I'll take you through the rocket that I've actually built. So first off, we've got our command pod at the top. One parachute and two parachutes on the side. That should actually give us enough for the weight of two materials bays, which we've got here. We've got two mystery gears, two batteries on either side, and two solar panels. We've got two what's it called, RCS thrusters. Couldn't think there for a second. And you'll notice we've got a couple of extra lights. I'll take you through the lights in a second. We've got a couple of ladders, so we've got one there and one there. That should get us down to the ground once the legs are extended. It should be no problem at all. We've got an RCS tank here, and RCS on the other side, and we've got a strobe. Well, it's not a strobe, it's just a white light, but you can get it to flash and stuff. But you can get more to flash, but anyway. As you'll see, there's green lights on this side of the tank and red lights on that side. That's just to help me orientate the actual craft once it's in orbit. Green's where the front of the craft is, and the red is where the back is. This is a mod that I've included, which adds all these different lights. You can add different things to them, you can make them do different things. It's really cool actually. You can make them flash in intervals and so on and so forth. It just makes your crafts look a little bit more interesting. The rocket itself, got one tank up here with Poodle, no, it's not Poodle engine actually, it's the LV909 engine, which is standard for getting off like places like Minmus. It's got one fuel tank, obviously got a separator there, got an RCS tank here as well because we've got some RCS thrusters there, just to help us manoeuvre if we need to, which I don't think we will. Obviously we're using the bigger rocketry stuff now rather than the smaller stuff that we had before. Got an engine in there which is one of these, the KW rocketry, which is a mod again, a Vesta VR 9D in there. On the outside here we've got these side tanks and these tanks. These solid rocket boosters are these ones, the 818 thrust tanks, very high thrust, pretty cool. All these ones have got the normal Recommand skipper thrusters on. What's going to happen is all these thrusters are going to fire at the same time, including the main tank. They'll all fire, including the solid rocket boosters. But as you'll notice here, I've got fuel transfer pipes that will take the fuel from here and transfer it into this bottom engine. So when these tanks drop off, this fuel tank here will refill completely to full, and then we should have a bit more give in the upper atmosphere. The reason why I put this tank on here, by the way, this centre one, rather than a main fuel tank, is because this is a bit more fuel efficient. It's got really good thrust, but it's better at fuel efficiency than this one is. But yeah, it's a lot better. Well, I won't say a lot better, but it's better anyway. So you get the idea anyway. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a lap of Minmus, in the sense of we're going to fly around close orbit. We're going to use one materials bay, and then we're going to use one goo. We've got a temperature reading that we can do up there as well, and we'll do that, and then we'll come in for a landing. We'll do the other materials bay, then we'll do the other goo, and then we'll do the other temperature. They won't be able to do the barometer until we actually come back. One thing you may have noticed is this thing on the back. Oh, sorry, we've got a communitron as well, just in case we need to use it, but I don't think we will. I can't really see there's any need for using that, but I like to put one on anyway, just in case. So this thing here is called the Mechjeb. The Mechjeb is basically an autopilot. It'll do nodes for you, it'll create nodes, it will straighten out orbits, it will take you to other planets. Not very well, I should add. But the reason why I'm using this at the moment is because I'm on a learning curve as well. You guys might be on learning curves, I don't know, you might be experts at this game. I'm not, I'm certainly not an expert. And I'm at that point now where I'm using all the knowledge I've got to kind of do this, and I think I could probably do with a little bit of help sometimes, just to actually clear some things up. If something's gone a bit wrong, and rather than just restarting the whole flight again, Mechjeb can actually jump in to help me out. So that's the only reason why I'm using it. I will try to use nodes myself. I'll try to create nodes myself, especially approaching moons. I'll do all those nodes myself. I won't include Mechjeb. I only use Mechjeb for things like maybe I want to circularize an orbit, or say it's a tricky maneuver that I'm going to make. I will use Mechjeb because it's very exact. That's the only reason why. The more and more I get better at this game, the less and less I will actually have to use Mechjeb. I mean, let's be honest, I've landed on the Mun and I've landed on Minmus already without Mechjeb. I'm just going to use it as a kind of an easement tool, something to help me out a little bit. So let's set this rocket off, get it into orbit, and then we'll start our manoeuvre towards Minmus. Obviously, that's kind of an affront. I mean, a lot of people kind of say, "Oh, Mechjeb, you know, it's kind of a bad thing to use, and you shouldn't use it." Well, that's your choice and stuff like that. But for me, as a learning tool, I think it's very good because I can actually set a node with Mechjeb and then actually see what I should have done, and it gives me an indication of where I should be going. So yeah. Right, this is going to get very loud because these outer rockets, these rocket, solid rocket boosters are very loud. So I do apologise in advance. What I'll probably end up doing actually is I'll get it into orbit and just throttle up, put my SES on. I'll get into orbit and then we'll take it from there. Well, I'll do a jump cut actually. Boring bit, and I don't want this video to go on too long. So what I'll do is I'll get this into orbit now and I'll come back in a second. Okay, so see you in a second. Hi guys, welcome back. Okay, so we're in orbit now. Got Jebediah up here. Basically, as you can see, I've put the lights on as well. We've got green on the top, red on the bottom. We've got a strobe flashing as well away there, and we've got the solar panels out. Because obviously we're going to be useless without power. Unfortunately, we are. Well, in fact, are we on the dark side? No, actually, we're on the light side, so we're doing good for power. At the moment, what I'm trying to do is just I'm creating a maneuver. I'm playing around with it. It's not the best maneuver ever. Because what I need to do is, because the closest approach at the moment is 990,000 meters, so 990 kilometers, which is not the best at all. But what we can do is we can make the maneuver, and then hopefully we'll come in when we get a bit closer. We can actually make another maneuver. What we're saying about Mechjeb is I could get Mechjeb to help me out a little bit here. It can't make the full maneuver for me because it just doesn't work with moons. I don't think it even allows you to actually make. I think it lets you make maneuvers to other planets, but the moons, no, I don't think it works. So what I'm going to do, just to show you exactly what I can do, orbit is hyperbolic, so this doesn't exist, okay, don't know what that means. What we need to do is, well actually I can just, can I do this? Can I do it this way? I can just tell Mechjeb to execute this maneuver for me. Let me just turn and face the node. I mean, this is an easy maneuver for me to make. I don't require a computer to do it, but I could get Mechjeb to do this for me. I can just find the thing, there it is. Slow down. Turning on this is very slow. But again, you know, NASA astronauts, doesn't matter where you're from, cosmonauts, European Space Agency astronauts, they all use computers to make these calculations. They don't do this by hand. They don't just send an astronaut off and say, right, okay, it's pen and paper, you'll need to do the calculations as you go. Computers do all this for them. This is why I don't think Mechjeb is cheating, I just think it's a helpful tool. So I could make that burn myself. I could make it in 13 minutes, it'll be a 30-second burn, but I can also add, ask Mechjeb to do it for me. So I'm going to ask it to execute the next node. So I'm touching nothing now, I'm not touching the keyboard, I'm not touching the mouse, doing absolutely nothing, and it will make this maneuver for us, and then we can plan our actual approach to Minmus. I know a lot of people out there do think Mechjeb is cheating. I just don't see it that way. I just think it's basically having an onboard computer on board your shuttle or your craft that allows you to make these kind of, you know, burns and decisions. I just don't think people should be punished for using something like this. It's a really helpful guiding tool. Like I say, I do try and make most of the manoeuvres myself, in the sense of I'll make the nose myself, but sometimes I'll just get Mechjeb to actually do the manoeuvre for me, because it's just easier. Because at the end of the day, I'm not a rocket scientist, I'm not an astronaut, I don't understand the maths. Well, it's not about understanding the maths, I do understand the maths, but I just don't know how, you know, I don't know how to work these kind of things out myself. So it's really nice to have an onboard computer. I treat it as an onboard computer that you can type in that this is what I need to do, please help me do it. And that's the way I see it. So let's just wait for this burn to finish. And then when we get a bit closer to Minmus, obviously we'll try and make another burn. To try and get ourselves into an orbit. So we're going to enter the sphere of influence, hopefully, of Minmus. There we go. As you can see, I'm not touching anything, Mechjeb's taken over. And there we go. Right, okay. So let's have a look. What we need to do now is get a bit closer. Well, we need to get to the sphere of influence, so what we need to do is time accelerate. And then when we get a bit closer, then we can decide what we need to do next. Just get a bit closer. Alright, so as you can see, this is actually, but basically we've got a bit of an issue here now, because we're on a very, very weird angle. So what we can do is add a manoeuvre. I'm going to pull in the retrograde. I think it's retrograde. I'm not sure. I'm never 100% on these things. What's that going to be? 69,000 meters. Pull in a little bit more. 44,000 meters. 32,000, and I'll show you exactly what Mechjeb can do to help you out in situations like this. Because at the end of the day, I mean, again, I could make this burn myself, it's not a big issue, it's an 11-second burn. And you've seen me land on Minmus before, and you've seen me land on the Mun. So it's not as if, you know, I'm cheating away just because I can't. For some reason my craft won't turn. Oh, it's because I'm time warped. So we could face the, let's get ourselves orientated properly. So one thing I would suggest as well is every time you use Mechjeb, it turns SES off. So it becomes a little bit more difficult to actually orientate the craft. Let's turn ourselves and find that node, wherever it may be. And what we'll do is we'll get Mechjeb to actually make the burn. If we just find the bloody node, it's over there. There it is. Okay, craft's got a bit nuts. Pull over and face the node. I mean, I could make this burn myself. It's just very easy to do. And like I said before, I've landed on the Mun and I've landed on Minmus manually. I've not used Mechjeb in the past to do this sort of stuff. But I just find it so convenient to help me out. Because the thing is, I think there's two different ways you can look at it. You can either see Mechjeb as a tool to like help with your natural kind of ability to actually play the game, or you can use it as a cheat, in the sense of you could get Mechjeb to do everything for you, which basically takes away the fun of the game, because obviously most of the fun of the game is the challenge of actually trying to do all this kind of stuff yourself. This is why I always do these. I mean, this node here, it wasn't created by Mechjeb. I could get Mechjeb to create this node, but I don't. I do it myself because it's a learning curve and it just helps me kind of learn. So what I'm going to do is, if you want to kind of use Mechjeb, I mean, like I say, I could use this, but I could do this burn myself. But if you execute the next node with Mechjeb, it will literally time warp for you. It'll do everything for you. I mean, I'm not touching anything again now. I'm not, you know, I'm not making any kind of alterations or anything. And Mechjeb will make this alteration for me, and I'll show you how we can circularize the orbit. As you can see, it's got a circularize option. There's plenty of options in Mechjeb. You can do all kinds of things, change your periapses and apoapses and stuff like that. And you can even transfer to other planets. You can't really transfer to the moons, they don't really work. I've tried that before, and it never worked. So I try and do all the maneuvers myself, basically. But the aim of this, and this video is going to go on a lot longer than normal, I do apologise again, I don't like to drag these videos on too long, but I'm not sure what else I can do really to actually make these videos shorter, obviously because we're doing landings and what have you. But I'm just glad that you're watching, so if you are watching and you've stayed with me for this long, then thank you very much. So here we go, we're slowing ourselves down and you can see our trajectory is now bending and getting into the orbit, and there we go. And the chip's now going to slow us down so we're exactly where we need to be. And there we go, that's the burn completed. So what we can do now is we can circularize this orbit. So you choose to circularize. Obviously we want to circularize around the 23,000 meters mark, it's 23 kilometers. So you can choose at the next apoapse or the periapse. Obviously we don't want the apoapse because if we did the circularizing there, it would circularize to, well, way far out. So I want the periapse. So at the next periapse we're going to ask it, I'm not going to create any nodes, I'm going to let it do it itself, just to show you how you can use Mechjeb in that way. So create and execute. It's created the node there, and I'm not touching anything again, I'm not doing anything, and it's just going to create the node and it's going to time warp towards it. Obviously we don't want to spend hours waiting for it. For some reason it's not time warping fast. Let me just time warp for it. I'm adding the time warp now because it's doing, sometimes it does do like a weird thing where it adds a very slow time warp. Beg your pardon. I'm not sure why it's doing this now. There we go. Just, for some reason it glitches there sometimes, you have to like come out of time warp to let it go back into time warp again. I mean it's sped up now. Don't know why it does that sometimes. But anyway, it doesn't really matter. So again, I'm not doing this, I'm not time warping, I'm not making directions on the crowd, I'm just literally letting Mechjeb do this. And here we go, nearly there. And then it's going to start its burn. It shouldn't be a long burn. And we should have plenty of fuel left, I would think, to make our landing. And there we go. Oh, actually, it's kind of screwed up here. Oh, it has really screwed up. No. See, it's you know what I mean. It's not definitive. Like, right. I'm gonna have to maneuver myself now to extend the periapses. Or we're gonna end up. Sorry, the apoapse. Or we're gonna. No, periapse. Bloody hell. Or we're gonna end up smashing into the planet. Right. So again, it's not infallible, you know. It can make mistakes itself. So I need to correct that mistake right now, or we are dead. Oh, Jebediah is dead anyway. Jeez, come on, let me slide it. There we go. No, wrong way. Alright, let's go back this way. Right, let's just get into this orbit. I don't know why that happened. In fact, let's see if it can actually sort its own problem out by telling it to actually execute this node. I could do it myself, obviously, but I'm trying to make a point here of Mechjeb, but unfortunately it was a really bad example. because it just completely screwed up what I asked it to do. I think it's because I was playing around with it a little bit whilst it was time warping and stuff like that, but who knows. Anyway, let's see if we can sort this orbit out before we die a horrible death. How you doing, Jeb? Right, so it's actually sorted it out now, so we're not going to crash into the planet anymore. What we're going to do is we're going to do the science as well, so we're going to get to that 22,000 on the Periaps, because that's a close approach. We'll get our science to be around there. I should use the keys more. Alright, see if we can get some science. Right, so let's do a mystery game. Ba-ding! 40 science. The goo feels right at home. Cool. Can we get a temperature reading from up this high? I should think we'd be able to. Log temperature. There we go, 32 science. Collected and recorded temperature data from the environment. And then we'll do a container, a mystery materials bay container. 100 science. The high radiation environment caused a few of the samples to glow. It looks like it would be fun to paint the rocket with this, which we've seen a few times before. So that's all the science we can really do up here. Could do a crew report, I suppose, or an EVA. Not sure. Right, sorry, I do apologise, but my phone's going. I'll be back in 1 sec. Hi guys, sorry about that. Just a quick phone call there. So what we need to do now is we've done all the science that we can do. We need to plan our landing. I think we should land around this area somewhere. So if we can make a manoeuvre here, and then drop ourselves down. No, we don't want to do that. Put ourselves in. This is a weird way to do things. I think we're going to end up coming around here and landing. It's not the end of the world, I suppose. Let's do that. We'll save a bit of fuel if we can. So I'll use the main rocket now to actually slow our descent. And then we're going for the landing. Should be a ton of fun. I mean, to be fair, actually I could make the bird now. I'm doing this, obviously it's not Mechjeb that's doing this. Kinda works, but I don't want to be on the dark side. It's okay, actually. It should be okay. I have quick saved as well, just then, just to make sure that if we do crash and burn, then I'll get another chance of doing that. I don't want to go through all of it again, obviously. Right, so let's come down to a point where we can land. We can actually start getting worried about actually coming down for a landing. It's not my favourite time. It's pants wetting time, to be honest. Right, let's turn towards the node. Also, I'm going to get the gear out before I forget. Taking off's the easy bit, this landing is a pain. It's not a pain, but it's just... I always make silly mistakes. So let's point towards the, I think it's called retrograde. Basically we want to slow ourselves down. So, if we start slowing ourselves down, we need to keep pointing towards this node as much as possible and get rid of our forward velocity. If we can land around here, that would be cool. slowing down our forward velocity. Keep pointing towards that node as best we can. Make sure we don't overburn. If we land on one of these mountains, it's fine, it's absolutely fine. There we go, now we're coming in. Slow our burn down, I don't want to do it too fast. Right. Let me just spin the craft round so I've got green facing it, there we go. So I know exactly what I'm doing. If we can land around here, that'll be cool. We should be able to do it. I've actually put the RCS thrusters on here just to make sure if we do mess up, I say we, if I mess up, then I can use the RCS thrusters to maybe stand us back up again if we tipple over. But we'll see. This is going to take a while to get down actually because we're quite high up. But we're going to fall slowly and slowly and slowly. So we can actually speed things up a little bit. Again, we want to land at least under 10 meters per second. You don't want to land any faster than that or everything will just explode. So let's get ourselves down to about 5,000 meters and then we can really start concentrating on slowing our descent. Let's do it now actually. So again, you just want to point your ship as much as you can towards that thing. So it shows that we actually are falling vertical. Because you don't want horizontal speed, which is the reason why the craft normally falls over. Let's just burn away, bring our speed right down. Don't want to bring it down too much, because we don't want to obviously take 10 years just to get to the floor. There we go. We've got to remember to plant that flag this time. Not making that bloody mistake again. I'm trying to use this engine as much as possible. It's got no real fuel left in it, but it's got plenty of fuel for this, what we're doing right now. Because we'll get rid of that when we're about 1,000 meters up, and then we'll use the little engine as little as possible to actually get ourselves off the planet, which shouldn't actually take that much. But I will show you Mechjeb as well for getting you back home, which is actually does work quite well. I find. Let's slow ourselves down a bit. We don't want to be doing a rush burn at the end just to slow us down. Come on, we can do this. I'm sorry, I do apologise. This is like the slowest bit of the whole kind of video, in the sense of it takes time to actually do this manoeuvre, and obviously you have to sit there and listen to me waffling on. Right, we're getting down to a point now where we're going to drop this tank, because I can see our shadow, so let's do that. We don't want to keep it for too long. We need to stop this speed. Just drop down, we need to get below 10 meters per second. So you can see our shadow definitely coming in now. We are drifting a little bit to the side. Hopefully we'll be able to ride that out. God, this is the bit that always makes me very nervous. Let's drop our speed off a little bit again. We are definitely travelling at an angle. Let me just try and correct that. So we need to conserve fuel, so we don't want to be using too much fuel doing this. Hopefully we don't don't tip over. Please don't tip over. They are still coming in at a sideways angle here, so we'll see. I know the leg struts have about a 10 meters per second tolerance, so we can keep it under 10. Don't know what the hell is blowing up down there now. Something is blowing up below us, and I don't know what it is. Really being careful with the speed. Nearly there, nearly there. Come on, Jeb, you can do this. Nice and slow, nice and slow. We're on a bit of a hill. It's not ideal. Oh, are we gonna land? Are we gonna land? Yes, we are. As always, brown pants time. And what the hell's blowing up? Something's blowing up all over the place. It must be the bottom stage of that rocket, but I'm not sure what it was. Right. Okay, let's get these ladders out. So glad we did that. We'll do all the sciencey stuff now. Get ourselves sorted. So we do mystery game, and let's see what we get for that. We got 50 science. You observe the goo. Cool. And then we'll get the other materials bay. That 125 science for that. While the materials samples were processed, you begin to turn your thoughts to how much Minmus looks like a mint dessert, and have discovered that you are now hungry. Cool. Let's do a crew report. 25 for this. You record the assessment of the situation, and let's do an ABA. I'm going to take the data we've already collected, because apparently you should be able to do another one. It's like a cheaty sort of way of doing it. So the reason why we didn't tip over there is because the reaction wheel to actually steady us. Look at him bounce, boing, boing, boing. Okay, so let's take a surface sample. 150. The surface seems to consist of tiny crystal-like grains. Very pretty, probably not edible. And then what we need to do then is plant a flag, because I don't want to forget again. It's just ridiculous. Keep forgetting. We'll call it Mechjeb made it to Minmus. It came back to plant a flag, which is pretty true actually. That's pretty much the reason why we did this. Okay, so at least we've got a flag on here now, and that's what I really wanted. But there's not much else we can do. We can do a temperature reading. We can't do a barometer reading because obviously there's no air pressure out here. Also, what I would say, I suggest as well, for some reason I can't click on anything now. Yep, can't click on anything. Hello? Hello? Oh right, it's because he's not inside the bloody thing. Ugh, I'm such a dummy. Come on, Jeb. Cut the crap, get back on the ladder. There we go. So he's having a bit of a brain fart moment there. Right. Cool, so we get another crew report out of that because I saved it with Jeb, so we should get an extra 25 seconds from that, which is always nice. Let's take a temperature reading. I can just bloody find the thing. There it is. Is it that one or that one? That one. Log temperature. 40 signs for that, collected and recorded temperature data. It's, again, you can't use the barometer thing because it won't work because there's no atmosphere, obviously. But we've got everything we can get. We've planted our flag. We've got all the signs, I think, that we can possibly get now. Got plenty of fuel left, so what we're going to do is we're going to let Mechjeb help us get back to Kerbal. Is there anything else I need to do? I'm just very aware that sometimes I make mistakes and get off a bit too quickly. But no. So what we need to do is take off in a random direction. Hopefully we can polarise our orbit a little bit. Not polarise, do an equatorial sort of burn. Quick look at the map. Nope. Need to go that way. So I've got no idea which direction we're going in there now. What I can do, I don't want to waste too much fuel. I can basically get Mechjeb to circularize the orbit. I mean, I could do it myself, it's not a big deal. But again, I'm just showing you how to use Mechjeb to help you out with these things. Circularize from the aquats and create an execute. That's always my problem with setting off from places like Minmus, is I just don't know what to, which direction to head in. Because we're in a really odd orbit compared to Kerbal now. But because Minmus has such low gravity, we never have to really burn that long, so it's not like an end of the kind of world sort of stuff. So let's just let Mechjeb take over there. Gives me a bit of a break after my shaking hands from actual making a landing. I am getting better at the landings. I don't make as much of a meal of it as I have done in the past, which is always nice. Okay, so we've got our manoeuvre now. Now what we can do is we can get Mechjeb to bring us back home. I could make the manoeuvre myself, I've done it before, obviously twice, but I'm going to let Mechjeb do it for us. So, you keep going through all the different things, return from a moon, right, a moon. So basically we want to do this, we want to get, I don't want to get down to that, I want to get down to about 80 kilometers. Create an execute. So it's an 18-second burn, very quick burn. This is so much more fuel efficient than it is for me to do it myself, because I always make a complete and utter mess of it. But you'll see now that Mechjeb will make this burn for us. Now we can get Jebediah right back home, and we get all that science, and then we can start unlocking some of the stuff. Hopefully what we'll get is the nuclear engines. If we can get the nuclear engines, then we can start making trips to the outer planets, which I've never done before, but we'll see how that goes. Because the nuclear engines are very fuel efficient, so you can use them to get to the outer planets. I mean, can you imagine me trying to work out how to do this burn myself? It would take me ages. So I'm not taking the fun out of the game, I'm literally adding a bit of usability to the game. I'm literally adding something that helps me. And there we go. So, what we can do now is wait for this to execute. So we'll leave the sphere of influence of Minmus, and now we enter the sphere of influence of Kerbal. And then we can make another burn as we come in. To slow ourselves down and get onto the planet. So let's make that maneuver. Further and further, a little bit more, let's just do that manoeuvre. Telling the computer to execute the next manoeuvre for me, because I'm lazy. This is a long burn to slow us down, but if we don't do this, then we're screwed, because we can't land, obviously. For some reason it's not actually taking control. Why is it doing this? It's being weird. Right, there we go. Now I'm not touching anything. For some reason it wasn't executing the node. It's a long, long burn this, but we've got plenty of fuel left, so we should be okay. This is a very long video and I do apologise for how long it is. I'll put a notice or something on the video to actually say, oh, you can always skip forward, you're not really missing much. I'll try and find a way to actually cut these videos down a little bit shorter, but I'm not sure how to do it. Because literally every mission I'm doing now takes over an hour of, you know, obviously building the craft, setting up, taking off, getting into orbit, setting up the nodes, getting to the planet. So I'm cutting them down as best I can, but unfortunately, if you want to actually see what's going on, I have to keep recording. So I'll think of something. I mean, again, I could have done this node, I could have done this bit myself, but I'm just letting Mechjeb take over. Because the next thing I want to do is I want to start building a space station. And to do that, I have real issues with docking, in the sense of I'm really bad at it. I mean, really bad. I've tried. I've been in like 400, 500 meters within, you know, where I need to be to dock, and then the craft just, no matter what I do, basically the craft just moves away from me, then comes closer, then moves away from me, and it becomes a bit of a nightmare. Apparently Mechjeb will help you out with that, docking, but you have to unlock the relevant parts, and I don't have the relevant parts at the moment, because I'm really bad at docking. But I would like Mechjeb to help me out with docking, so I can actually, again, learn a little bit more. So let's pull ourselves right in, because we may as well come in for a landing now. Don't come in too sharp. That's a bad idea. Let's just bring it in. And then we'll make that landing. That'll do. Just execute the next node, 'cause, again I'm being lazy. 1 minute 7 second burn. Oh, actually that's not gonna work. Let's do this ourselves. Let's wait until we get to the other side of the planet, and then we'll just slow ourselves down, and then we'll land somewhere. Not sure where. It's gonna be key happy there. Right. Just put the gear away. Face towards the retrograde. Bloody SAS turned off every single time. So I just need to spin the craft around so I can actually use it properly. actually. This is a bad thing. This is not good at all. I don't think we've got enough fuel to actually get ourselves back down, so we're travelling way too fast. Is there a simpler way to do this? Oh my god. I can't believe I made a mess of this. 23-second burn. Let's try that. Literally I'm going to screw this up unless I use Mechjeb, so I need to... Well, I wouldn't screw it up actually. I could still do it myself, but... I think what I was trying to do there, I was trying to come in at too sharp an angle, so it caused me to burn for far too long. I'm just hoping this now will actually bring us back in a little bit easier. Because we use the atmosphere obviously to slow ourselves down. Let's see what this does. Are we having a fuel? Most likely not. We should still make it into the atmosphere though. That's fine. Yeah, but we're gonna brush the atmosphere here, so it's cool. Right. I'm not sure how this land's gonna go, to be fair. See what I can do. Right. Get rid of these panels. They'll just get ripped out coming into the atmosphere. Let's face ourselves towards the planet. And let's speed up time. That was a very close call that actually. That was a mistake on my behalf. I shouldn't have actually made that other burn earlier. We're going to land in the ocean, I think. Let's get rid of that. Let's draw in these ladders. Release parachutes. We're definitely going to land in the ocean. I can live with that. As long as we're slow enough. Seems okay. And it's parachutes. I really want to get this science back, so I don't want to risk losing all that. Let's speed up. Bring the craft so it's facing vertical. Wait till about 2,000 meters now, slow ourselves down. Slow the speed down. And hopefully these parachutes should take the weight. Please take the weight. There's no reason why they shouldn't, but... There we go. 5.4 meters per second, that's fine. It's going to take a little while to actually get us down to the ground, and then we can end the video. Again, I do apologise for how long it's been. long-winded one, this one. Jeb, you're a king. Been everywhere. And then we can do a quick barometer test. 8.4 signs. Collected and recorded. Precious data from this round. Right, everything's survived. That's all we really wanted. Recover the vessel. And hopefully we got some good signs from that. Let's see how much we got. We got 576.7 signs, which is awesome. Which means we've got 645 signs now saved up. Yeah, cool. Sorry about how long this video's been. It's been a long one. I do apologise. Thank you so much for watching and sticking with me. Hopefully in the next video what we're going to start doing is planning out a mission to one of the outer planets, or we're going to start building a space station. But we'll play around with that. I'll unlock the science stuff either off camera or on the next video. But yeah, so thank you so much for watching as always. Please feel free to rate, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next video, guys. So take care of each other, and goodbye.